It's gonna be a good one.
It's gonna be a good one.
Definitely a different type of process.
Cut down or freeze up.
Being a coach's son.
Jackson, of course, they keep retooling. One stone to face, a hit by pitch. Oh my goodness. Hello everyone, welcome inside the Red Earth Production Studios for this edition of YBMcast Baseball Talk. Today, we've got some Legion baseball that we're talking about, and we've got some great stuff coming up for you. First, though, as always, YBMcast powered by Game 7 Baseball right here on the lid, game7baseball.com. We had a great season, a lot of fun stuff that we did this year, finished out. I want to give a big shout out to Dave and Dave. A lot of good baseball played out at Warrenton, out at the WAC, and across the state, into Illinois, down to Tennessee. Really good baseball. The fall ball's coming up. If you want to play some fall ball, hey, get your buddies together. Go out and hack the ball around, have some fun, keep your swings going. It's a good way to stay in tune with it. If you're playing football, you're playing, whatever fall sport, fantastic. Make sure you don't forget your swing, though. Got to keep the swings going. Also, folks, over the next couple of weeks, we have our Summer Bash promos still going, and we've got a big one tomorrow. It's tomorrow, isn't it, Drew? Bananas, Savannah Bananas. They're here in St. Louis. We're going to have a fantastic opportunity to interview some of the players from the Savannah Bananas tomorrow night out at Prime Sports. If you're around the area, come out. Prime Sports, we got the meet and greet with 3 bananas and 1 party animal. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Next Tuesday, our Summer Bash continues. It's the centennial celebration for 100. Well, centennial means 100. Exactly. For American Legion Baseball, we're heading towards the state championships in Sedalia. Next week, we're going to celebrate 100 years of American Legion Baseball. We're going to be at Prime Sports. We're going to be doing some live stuff. We got giving away tickets. We got our live podcast going on. We got a Hit Tracks competition going on. Come on out, support American Legion Baseball, support local business with Prime Sports. We appreciate that greatly. So that all being said, here on Baseball Talk, we have a couple of coaches that I had a chance to meet, and we interviewed last fall heading into the season. First off, head coach at Smith Cotton in Sedalia, Missouri, Kyle Zimmerman. Coach, thanks for joining us, man.
Hey, thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
And head coach at Moberly High School in Moberly, Missouri, the Spartans, Brandon Boyer. Coach, thank you very much.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Folks, what these two gentlemen are also going to be part of our broadcast crew. We're going to be live streaming all the baseball coming out of Sedalia. It's going to be live from Liberty Park, 5 p.m., 8 p.m., Thursday, Friday, Saturday, all day from 10 to 7. Sunday, Championship Sunday. I'm looking forward to that. So I appreciate these gentlemen taking the time. But first, we're going to squirrel down. We got some 15U, 17U championship tournaments going on. 15U brackets are set. I want to give a shout out here, first off, to one of the commissioners, Scott Blackwell. He also runs the Eureka program. Does a great job, by the way. Eureka always right in the mix. They're in one of the 19U zones, but he did a cool thing. If you got Game Changer, you can follow the 15U freshman championships. He's got the whole thing right here on Game Changer. It's killer. Schedule, teams, pitch counts, everything. You can see the overall, and we're going to look at that. Overall, you got Post 226, which I guess you'd call the number 1 seed with a 25-10 record. That's Ellsbury. That looks like Post 218 18-6, a couple of ties. That's like kissing your sister. Nobody likes that. The Pacific Indians post 320, 22-12, playing some good baseball. You got Eureka post 177, 13-1. The Elks Lodge, they were in there. That's from over in the Kansas City area. They're in the state championship. You got, and the Jackson Tribe from down there win in their zone. So that is the 15U championship. If you want to follow it, if you got Game Changer, this is a really cool deal. All the schedule is there. You can also see the schedule on the website, MissouriAmericanLegionBaseball.org. So shout out to Scott Blackwell for making that happen. Schedule's all right there. Guys, I know there's probably, not too much. Maybe we don't know as much as we need to about some of these teams, but I'll tell you what I did see, Ellsbury, they got a team ERA of 2.79, an opponent batting average against at 209. As a coach, Kyle, would you take that?
Oh, absolutely. 100%. And pitching and defense is the name of the game. The way I kind of tell our team is our pitching and defense has to give our offense time to figure it out. And when you can hold teams to under 3 runs a game, that's a big reason why they've got that many wins over the summer.
Absolutely. That's a great point, Brandon. I'll throw this at you. You always talk about that first time through the lineup. You're trying to work through the guys. The more the guys are talking, and to Coach's point, you do need that time, don't you?
Oh yeah, for sure. Pitching was a strong suit for our team this year, and any time that you can get through the lineup more than once with the same guy is a benefit and saving your arms. And we had some pitching depth that we were able to manage some different situations and things like that. And it seems like this team has some pitching depth for sure. I was looking at it, and they have a lot of guys have thrown innings for them, but basically the whole team. So when you have that, especially being a 15U team, and I saw that they faced some high school teams as well. So I feel like this team's got it pretty made for a postseason run.
Yeah, this young man, I want to give a shout out. I'm sure I'm going to butcher his name though. That's what's terrible. His first name's Frankie. I would imagine that's pronounced DeFeo. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. But a .512 ERA and opponent batting average against at 176. Whatever level you're pitching at, if you're a half a run and an opponent batting average under the Mendoza line, you're getting it done. I mean, I don't care. As simple as it gets. So, and because Eureka down there, their team ERA is a little bit high at 5.36. Their opponent batting average is not too bad at 2.66. But I like that they've scored 187 runs. They got 37 extra base hits at a 289 team batting average, which is pretty good for Eureka down there. The Elks, they were slashing 316, 404, and 487 with 55 runs scored in 10 games, which I think is pretty good, guys. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's, again, having the offense allows your pitching and defense to not be as perfect. And I think when you're talking about a 15U level, I think you can get into some days or some games or some weekends where, maybe the defense just isn't there. And so, if you don't have one having the offense there to pick them up and provide that run support, it can take away a lot of stress.
Yeah, absolutely. The other Pacific, I've heard a lot about. I've heard a lot of good things from this side because it's right down the 44 corridor there. The other one, the elephant in the room, Washington, post 218. Moberly, the 19U's got to come over here for zone one. I would imagine you guys are familiar with Washington Post 218. They've been doing it for quite some time, Brandon. And these guys are 18-6-2, as we said. They just seem year after year to be able to reload with talent.
I mean, that's a pretty solid area for baseball. When I used to play for the Sixers, we'd usually go over to Washington in our season. We'd go over to the zone tournament. We usually ended our season losing to Washington. I mean, they got Washington High, they got Borgia, and they got some other schools around that area that they can pull from. And they have a strong tradition. And a lot of times when it comes to Legion, whether it's 15, 17, 19U, those teams with a strong tradition get the kids want to go play for those Legion teams, and they're successful in the postseason. And I've seen it from the 19U level all the way down. So I assume that Washington team, same with Ellsbury as well. They have a strong tradition in Legion. So I would say that would be a fun matchup.
Absolutely. Kyle, from your side over there, I know you're, being in Sedalia there. So far here, most of the teams in the 15U are, coming from the east side of the state. What do you guys got to do on that end? What are you seeing as far as some of these younger teams with Legion baseball there?
I can't speak to all the teams on this side, but I know for us specifically, we had a 15U team for a couple years there. And we weren't able to put together the numbers to make it happen this year. And I think, if I had to kind of to maybe put a thumb on something, I think that it's more, travel ball, I think, is a little bit more prevalent on this side of the state, and in the Kansas City area than Legion. Because, I mean, I can remember when I played, you had Highboy, you had Rod Zays, you had, Fike, and you had all these teams coming out of Kansas City. And now I think the only team left is Fike.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's kind of, at least at the younger levels, a lot of those guys have been playing with these travel teams for so many years, and they want one more year before they go, play with their high school buddies. And so I think that's a little bit of it. But again, the other part of it is, again, you got to have the numbers to put the team together. So
I know this year, because there's the club over there on the Kansas City side, 643 KC. I know they had a Legion team, so I think that's promising. That's interesting, that dynamic. And down in Jackson, I know with Mark Lewis, they're affiliated with that Jackson Tribe organization and work through that club. So I think that's an interesting dynamic that I think some of these programs can get a little cross mogenation, I guess, for lack of a better way to put it.
Exactly.
And create some opportunities for kids that, not everybody needs to travel. So I think it's
absolutely
right. I think it's a great opportunity. Hey, listen, I'm thinking either, I think the top teams here, I think it's anybody's guess. I think this is going to be a close one. Personally, man, I'm taking Ellsbury here. Without seeing some of the stats from Washington, I just like their pitching, their ERA. I don't know what Pacific's got. I know they got a guy that his last name's Haddix. I think it was that zone championship game. He went 5 innings, 3 hits, 4 base on balls, 5 Ks, no runs allowed. But I don't know what else they have. So I'm going to go with what I know there and what I see. That's just my one man's opinion. But 17U guys, this one here, there's some teams notable here. St. Genevieve, post 150. That freshman team last year was really good. They're the 17U team this year. They're really good again. I could see them winning it all, but you've got on that side now here in the 17U, Kyle
Mhm.
and Brandon, from your guys' side, Fike, Jeff City, and
Yeah.
Sedalia, all in this 17U, has a lot of good representation from both sides of the state here. What do you
Mhm.
guys know about those teams?
Yeah, so I mean, Jeff City is a really good team. I know that they've got some Blair Oaks guys mixed in, some Fatima guys mixed in, as well as some Jeff City guys. And there's a lot of talent in the Jeff City area. And when you can combine that, I know Sedalia has had a really good summer. They've played a lot of games, and so I think that I think that'll be a strength for them, having seen a bunch of different scenarios compared to maybe some of these other teams that haven't played as many, which they probably have played more, just not, don't have necessarily the records marked. And then Fike's a scrappy group. They're not necessarily gonna wow you in any area, but they do a lot of things well. And so anytime you can kind of be well rounded like that, I think it gives you an opportunity to make some noise.
Absolutely. Brandon, that Jeff City group, 297 ERA, 154 Ks as a staff, and in 171 innings pitched. Their team batting average, they're 306, 455, 406 with 51 extra base hits. This is a very balanced team.
Yeah, this team has a lot of talent. I'm pretty sure the Kempker kid that leads them in average and a lot of offensive categories is a St. E kid. They won the state championship in Class 1.
Hmm.
A lot of times, especially with the Jeff City area and those smaller schools around Jeff, you can play the name game and you can see names and be like, that kid's probably a pretty good player right there. But that other than the Blair Oaks and the Jeff kids, you got Saney, Eugene, which was a state finalist. The talent around Jeff City is there,
Hmm.
and when you the way that Legion baseball hasn't as many clubs anymore, you can pull from a lot of areas, and this Jeff City team will have a lot of talent. A lot of guys that even at those Blair Oaks Jeff City schools might have been JV guys, but would start on a lot of varsity teams around the
Hmm.
state just because of how deep the talent is. So I'm sure this Jeff City team's really good. I looked at some of the games on their schedule. They have some tough programs that they play, not just Legion teams as well. So
Hmm.
I'm sure that the talent will be pretty deep on that club. So
Now, I looked at the head to head, and Sedalia they played once, Sedalia Jeff City, and they're in that same pool. So, it'll be interesting to see, how that goes. Sedalia's got them 1-0. It was a close ball game. How do you
Hmm.
see those two playing out, guy? Go ahead, Kyle.
I think it's going to be a matter of, it's potentially cliche to say, but it's going to depend upon which defense and which pitching staff does better. Because I think offensively, both of these teams can really get after it. Sedalia has a team batting average of 373, and has done a lot of things. They run the bases. They're very attacking type of offense. So if Jeff City is going to beat them, they're going to have to do it by keeping them off the bases, by not letting that offense get into a rhythm. And so, I think it really boils down to that. And on the pitching side, that's where when you have a tournament like this where you got double elimination, you have pool play, you have different things where you don't just lose and you're done. That kind of changes how you approach your matchups. And so I'll be very interested to see, if these guys throw their best arms at each other, because with it being that early in the week, you might be able to bring a guy back on Saturday, maybe if it works out that way. Whereas, maybe hey, we need the other two, so we're gonna go get the other two, and this one, hey, we'll take our chances with maybe our second best guy, and then we'll live with the results. So I'd be very interesting to see how that plays out.
the format. Oh, and that's the other thing too, folks. I want to let you know what the format is because it's a little different than it's been in the past. With the 17U bracket, I'm sure Drew put that up there a minute ago, but it's gone to a pool play style. Each team will play 2 games in a pool situation, and the top 2 teams from each pool will square off in semifinals. And the 2 semi winners will play for the state championship. So, to your point, I don't know if you can hold off. You got to get a win.
Sure.
Because if you go 0-2,
right. Oh yeah.
good night, sayonara. And when you said that at first, I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds. I go, wait a minute, no, you got to look because it's not double elimination. So
Yeah, that's a good point.
there you go. So that strategy goes into play here. You've got to get at least 1 win and keep your runs against down. And so this favors this particular, in my opinion, this particular format favors pitching depth.
Mm-hmm. I can speak on that a little bit. That bracket is set up just like Moberly's zone is, and I text Coach Hunt today, and we could talk about it a little bit more. And I was like, "So how are you pitching this? Are you going to try to get to the bracket? Because it's a little bit different. You're trying to get to state. You're not trying to win at all." And I said, "Are you trying to get to the bracket? Are you saving? Are you because they do have some pretty solid pitching depth? Are you going to try to?" Get to the bracket and save your dudes for that, like how you want to do it. I mean, it's the same thing that high school baseball coaches have to do on a weekly basis. And it's interesting to try to play that game of chess when you have pitching depth or lack thereof. So
that's a big key because here's the other thing. The star side, St. Jan, Fike, Washington. Oh my gosh. I did a power ranking. I did 1 power ranking for the 17U before we got into this because I started looking at these teams and I had St. Jan 1, Fike 2, Sedalia at 3, Jeff City at 4, and Washington at 5. So this is just my thoughts on this. These 3 teams that are in the stars were 3 of the top 5 teams in the state at the 17U level, which I think is very, very real. And so here they are playing against each other. I don't think you can save a bullet here, Coach. Kyle, your thoughts on that?
Oh yeah. No, I agree. Because the all-time, coin toss or the thought process, especially, like, when you're talking spring, you're talking districts, lose, you're done. Well, you can't make it to the next day if you don't win that day. And so when you think about that, yeah, I mean, you don't want to go down, with your best bullet on the sideline. You always want to shoot your best bullet, right? When you need it. And that's where, like Coach was talking about, your depth comes into play. I mean, you might have a 1A and a 1B, whereas another team has a clear number 1, and then it's a drop off. And so, some of those teams that feel really confident in their 1A, 1B, now they're looking and they're going, okay, we know that this team only has 1, and so we need to go get that 1, and then we'll move from there.
And just looking at some head-to-head it was early in the season. It was in June. But Washington and St. Jan did play, and St. Jan beat them 13-1, which is a pretty solid win. But I'll give that. That's early in the season. If we're looking at head-to-head matchups, Washington also beat the Sedalia team 5-3. That was in June. Fike beat Washington early in the season. So these teams have played each other, and you get the better of somebody here or somebody there. So I think these are pretty even matchups, and I think you could toss a coin to see who's going to come out of this, honestly. I think it's going to be this particular state championship, in my estimation, is going to come down to who's throwing the best at that time. It's going to be the pitching and defense. This comes down to what we've talked about. Brandon, you've seen this, especially in the last district and playoffs in high school, I mean, where runs are just premium. I mean, you've been in one-run ball games like forever.
Yeah, yeah, not by choice, but yeah, it in the postseason runs are definitely a premium, and like he said, you never know if someone has one or one A or one ABCD, or if someone just has the dude. And we've seen it before. We saw it this year in our district when Boonville has a kid going to state fair. He's just the Bishop kid's a stud, and when you see him thrown in the semifinal, it gives you a better feeling. You never want to look ahead, but when you see those big arms throwing, get someone else to get to the game and to throw your best arm to get there, it gives you some sense of confidence. But you still got to take care of business. I
Mhm.
think that pitching depth in the postseason goes farther than obviously the shutdown dude, especially in these setups where you have either a double elimination or a pool play. In Mish's setup, you have one game and you're done. So seeing the big horse on the bump is not a good sign when you have to see that guy. So I think pitching depth prevails in the way that these tournaments are set up. So whatever team has the pitching depth, and obviously the defense to back it, and like you said, one-run ball games aren't fun to play in. So if the offense, if you can get all three facets in there, then it's gonna be a good weekend for you. So
Somebody has got to get a bunt down, coach.
yeah,
Right.
no kidding.
And you know, at 17U, I mean, it's hard at high school sometimes. These kids are reluctant to, square up and really work to get one down. And you're asking a 17-year-old sometimes to do that. It's a tough situation when the pressure's high. These are big moments. It's like watching the home run, the All-Star game last night. Was that killer or what?
Oh man, I loved it. It was great.
I have
It's the
never
best
seen.
All-Star game in a while.
It really was, and what Schwarber did, that to me epitomizes clutch. That was unbelievable. I can't believe it. So you got a 17-year-old kid in feeling that kind of pressure,
Hmm.
trying to get a bunt down, facing some guy that's probably throwing low to mid 80s. It's not easy,
Yeah.
folks.
Yep.
Not easy.
Exactly.
So take your pick. Hey, tell us what your pick is. Put it down below. I'm not picking. I just don't. I think you can. I think any one of those teams. Cape, I think is woefully. They're the host. They get a spot, but I don't unless something. They just get hot. It happens.
Hmm.
We saw that with a high school team. Not last year, or the year before, Lutheran St. Charles, man, they had 4
Hmm.
wins all season and rode themselves to the Final Four.
Yeah. Yeah.
They did,
Yeah.
didn't they?
All you gotta do is have a
They
chance, man.
they had a dude on the bump. Talking about facing the dude, they had the dude against us.
Yeah, exactly. So there you go. Anywho, all right. So 17U, it's going to be a lot of fun. Those start tomorrow, folks. They start tomorrow. Please, if you got a comment, please share it below. We'd love to see that as well. Also starting tomorrow are all 3 of the zone tournaments in the 19U. And we're going to start with Zone 1. And Zone 1, when I saw it, I was just like, I mean, Lord have mercy.
Mhm.
I don't know if you get out of this, are you going to be healthy enough to get to the state championship, man? My goodness. Let's start with the Stars side. That pool is Jeff City, Washington, and St. Charles. St. Charles, I think they got an uphill climb, but Washington, here we go, Jeff City. Let's start with Jeff City on that side. Coach, Kyle, they 270 ERA, 94 runs against, 110 base on balls, 193 Ks, a .208 opponent batting average. That staff is really good.
Yeah. Yeah, they're getting after it. It's well, and I'm just kind of looking through here. There's a lot of good pitching staffs in in that zone. So it's going to be a grind.
We
You know,
that's
that's pretty impressive.
I know, right? I mean, 193 Ks. My goodness. So they
Hmm.
got dudes that got a lot of swing and miss. They've scored 178 runs, Coach Boyer, and they only gave up 94. That is a huge differential.
Yeah, and I know that last week they shut out the Sixers in back in a doubleheader, 1-0, 6-0. Like the same thing with the 17U team. They got kids from Helias. I know they also got the St. Elizabeth kids. I think they even have some kids from maybe South Callaway as well. Um, I know that the Edwards kid that or not the Edwards kid, the Williams kid from St. Elizabeth, I believe is going to UCM, and he was one of the big players on their state championship team, and that they have a lot of talent. I already mentioned the talent in that area, but you just look at the amount of guys that have pitched for them and thrown. It looks like about 15, 16 guys have thrown at least over 5 innings. So even if you get in a jam or get in a pinch late, they're going to have guys that have some sort of experience and probably threw much more innings for their high school team. So uh,
Hmm.
we talked about tradition already. Post Five's got a strong tradition. They were another team that when I used to play Legion, they would always be a tough matchup. So like I said, deep talent, deep pitching, and strong baseball roots in that area. So
Well, speaking of strong pitching, your boys are representing pretty well. I know they lost the doubleheader, but the Sixers with a 1.92 team ERA, that's sub 2, folks. Team ERA. Only 53 runs allowed, 76 base on balls, 207 Ks, an opponent batting average of 195. To me, that's the best pitching staff of everybody there in this whole zone. Um, I watched. We live streamed the championships last year. I think they got something to prove. It was a heck of a championship game against Aylesbury last year. Do you think these guys are primed for that, Coach Boyer?
yeah, I mean, we talked about pitching for sure. Like you started, they have my 1A, 1B, 1C on their staff, and then they also got a kid from Western, Cooper Harvey, who threw the majority of their innings the last 4 years. He's going to MACC with a few of my guys. Him and Jack kind of get the most of the innings at the top. Um, but I know for a fact Jackson, Mitch, and Cade can all throw in against any opponent and be successful. They have some other guys in there that are sneaky that have thrown a lot of innings. The Burns kid from Macon um, has a little funky delivery and he's hard to hit off. And the Waltimate kid from Centray is also pretty crafty. The Easley kid from Southern Boone hasn't thrown as many innings. I could see him throwing a little bit more in the postseason. He's thrown a lot of innings for Southern Boone in big games, postseason games. He's thrown against big teams like us, Blair Oaks, teams like that. Um, it's going to be kind of the story of how our season was. If the hitting is there, then they can take the pressure off the pitchers. They'll be fine. I will say the one thing that this team has that, I mean, I'm biased, but Drew Smothers is their catcher this year. He was our catcher as a sophomore. He played the club circuit the last couple of years, and he can throw it well. And he's batting 373, and he's first on the team in hits right now. And I think he's been hitting in that 5 range on their team. And he kind of came into his own at the end of our season, and I think it's huge for them because I know how he works with our pitchers. Obviously, he's working with a lot of our pitchers, but as well as Cooper. I mean, his dad was a baseball coach. I know a lot of them are smart baseball minded kids, so they have what it takes to win this. zone. They just, you got to go out and execute and play their brand of baseball.
Sedalia Travelers, Connor Spinagle, he's had that team playing well for as long as I've been watching, paying attention to American Legion baseball. Coach Zimmerman, that group, you're familiar with them a lot. You've got some kids there, whatnot. Talk to us about the pitching staff there.
Yeah, so another deep staff. I'm looking here, and you got 10 guys that threw 10 innings or more over the summer. And so a little bit of that is by design. A little bit of that is a necessity, different things like that. But they're led by Gabe Berry and Braden Eads, which are two guys out of Otterville, which is a small Class 1 school here about 15, 20 minutes away from Sedalia, but they can really throw it. They've got some velocity. They're able to mix pitches. And then, you kind of just go down the list. Jayden Archibek, he was a guy for us in the spring that threw really well, and that has continued into the summer. But he also catches, and so he's kind of had to take on a little bit more of the catching role and hasn't been able to get on the mound as much as maybe he or the team would like. But they're not necessarily a team that's going to just blow you away, but they're going to throw a lot of strikes. And that's the name of the game. You get the ball in the strike zone, and a lot of times the hitters are going to get themselves out. And so that's what this team does a really good job of. I think they've got a team ERA of right around 3.6, so they're really holding their own. But like I said, it's not necessarily a group of guys that's just going to stand up there and blow you away and strike you out per se. They only have 187 strikeouts on the season, which is still very nice, but it's not necessarily gonna kind of wow you or blow you away. But they're consistent, and they have guys that are tough and they compete. And when their numbers called, they get up there and they have confidence in themselves to get the job done.
I got a little ahead of myself, folks. That's zone 2. Sedalia's in zone 2. So we'll come back to that. But I want to finish on the stripe side. Ellsbury, as we talked about Moberly there, Washington's on the star side, St. Peter's. Folks, I've had Jeff City, Washington, Ellsbury, Moberly, St. Peter's, top 7 in different areas. That's 5 of the top 7 teams in this state in my power rankings, Youth Baseball Midwest. Ellsbury, folks, from last year, they brought a lot of those guys came back. You're talking about the kid that's going to UCM, Avon Weaver came back. He pitched at UCM last year. He's back there. Timmy Emmons, a kid that is just actually coming in. He's going to be a senior in high school this year. Mid to upper 80s guy. Good curveball. They added him along with DJ Barth, Brady Creech. You got Gavin Woodson coming back that came back this year. He was at Mineral Area. You had all these guys come back to this squad. A 2.76 team ERA, 268 Ks with 122 runs against. They played 38 games. This team they're there. They're good. They've got dudes everywhere, basically, folks. Warren Conrad, kid from Winfield, going on. I can't remember exactly where he's going, but see if I can find that out. Ellsbury is primed there. It's going to be tough. I think Washington, that one's going to be interesting. A 2.46 ERA, 68 runs against, a 2.25 OBA, opponent's batting average. Drew Eckhoff, Andrew Elbert, Lane Malincrot, a lot of Borgia, Washington guys like we talked about. Colton Carrier from Washington. Drew Eckhoff's the shortstop there. He's played that with them for quite some time. Heck of a good player. I think they may be a little more Ben Galinas, too, from Washington. They may be a little undermanned on the mound, in my estimation, for what I see here. St. Peter's the same. I think a little. Both Washington and St. Peter's can hit. St. Peter's is a lot of Fort Zumwalt East kids I'm very familiar with, Fort Zumwalt North kids. But I just think both of those teams are a little undermanned on the mound. I think Jeff City, Ellsbury, pitching-wise, are the top two teams there. So I can see both of those I can see those teams there as the ones coming out of those pools and into the championship there. That's one man's opinion, guys. That's what I see. Any thoughts as before we move on there, guys?
I mean, obviously, I'm gonna pick my guys, but uh, uh, I I don't think I could talk to them for a while if I didn't. But I will say that a lot of the names that you mentioned from the Ellsbury and Washington teams, I follow my guys' summer season, so I see those names. And some of the names you mentioned, it seemed like the same guys that my guys have played for the last few summers. So, and I know a few of my guys, it's their last year playing Legion, and I know how important their high school season is. A lot of the guys that my guys are playing with on the Sixers, they played with on travel ball since they've been little guys. So it means just as much for them. And some of them are going to go play with each other next year at MACC, but this is the last time some of them will ever play together. So I know it means a lot to them. So
Yeah.
hopefully they can get it done. And they've fallen short last year to Ellsbury in the state title, I believe. I know they played them in
Yes.
zone, but I believe it's in the state title as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I know it means a lot to them, and I know that a lot of those teams right there in that zone have gotten the better of each other the last few years. So there's going to be some serious bragging rights to whoever comes out of the zone for sure.
Oh yeah.
Kyle?
Oh, I was just gonna say. I mean, there's gonna be a lot of really good baseball in that tournament. You can just see by looking at the stats and hearing about the names and things like that. And you get into this time of the summer, and these are 17, 18-year-old kids, and some of them might want to be done and might want to be ready to have the rest of their summer. And you battle that a little bit as well. And so, I think the team that can be motivated enough and the team that wants to keep playing, I think that's going to be what kind of wins the day, when you got teams that are so evenly matched.
Absolutely. And here's the thing, folks. Most people don't know this, but here you get out of zones, you go and you win a state title. And I think this has to be I agree. I love that point. The motivation. What are you doing? What are you playing for? I think it's cool what American Legion does. If these teams win zones, they go to state. From state, if you win that state, they come get you in a bus. You're not paying for this. American Legion pays and drives you. Now, here in Missouri, it's not going to be too far because you're going to Washington, because the Mid-South Regional is in Washington, Missouri, which I just want to say we will be live streaming the Mid-South Regional this year as well from Washington. So make sure you tune in. Looking forward to it. 7 states: Missouri, Oklahoma, Kansas, Arkansas, Louisiana, Tennessee. I'm missing one. Did I say Kansas? I did.
Mm-hmm.
Louisiana, Mississippi. That's one I didn't say. Mississippi.
Oh, okay.
Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
So if you win that regional, they come fly you. You're not paying for it. They come fly you to Shelby, North Carolina for the World Series, which is shown on ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't you want to do that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's an experience of a lifetime.
Awesome.
Right? And then the winner of the World Series gets a trip to the World Series. They're introduced at the World Series. It's a great, come on, man. I think this is one of the coolest things in baseball is this opportunity. You got to earn it. Mm-hmm. But you gotta keep that motivation. What can you do and keep that thing playing? I'm not counting out Moberly either, Coach. Just an FYI.
No, I have to pick them. I was going to pick them, but I have to pick them.
Ellsbury's got some offense. I like Moberly's offense as well. It's going to be tight. I think you can make a case for all of these teams. It's just that good. So, Zone 2, a little more cut and dried. If Sedalia and the Mule Club don't come out of this, that's going to be a huge upset, wouldn't you say, Coach Zimmerman?
Yeah, that would be my thought process. I mean, maybe Fike could make a little noise and cause some trouble. I know they've played the Travelers pretty close, a couple of different times, but my pick would be, Sedalia and Mule Club.
Because this is more of the traditional double elimination bracket. They're still in that thing. We haven't talked about the Mule Club. They got some outstanding players. Eli Anderson. I know I'm going to butcher Sam's last name. Slobodzewski or something like that. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah,
is that how you pronounce it?
It's hard to say. I honestly don't know, but I know that I do not like facing him when we're on the other side of the of the field. So he can really get after it.
Well, he's going to Jeffco for a reason, right?
That's right.
There you go. Trent Gallagher, another kid heading to Mineral area. Charlie Morgan. Charlie Morgan is a tough out. I mean, it's
the kid can really play shortstop too. He's very good.
Big physical kid for playing shortstop too, right? Yeah. So the Mule Club, I don't have a lot of information on the Mule Club as far as stats or anything that way. I just know these kids. I've seen these kids play. I've been around them. 15-10-1. I think they got off to a little bit of a slow start, played a little bit better down the stretch, and so it'll be interesting to see. But honestly, no offense to the Owls, 626 or Fike, Oak Grove. Oak Grove's been in the state championship the last 2 years, but I just think talent-wise they're a bit down this year.
Yeah, I think they've got a lot of tradition. I know they've had some really good talent go through there through the years. I think maybe it's a little bit of a dip. I'm sure they'll probably be back here soon. But I think from what I've seen and from what I've kind of witnessed, it's a down summer for them.
Yeah. Coach Boyer, your thoughts on this one?
I'll be a little bit of a homer here, but the Travelers beat the Sixers, scored 3 runs in the bottom of the 7th on Saturday to beat the Sixers. So we'll go with Sedalia, and I know that they played the Mule Club earlier in the year and beat them. So we'll go with the Travelers. Not just because Coach is on here; he's a Sedalia guy. But is this played in Warrensburg or Sedalia? I know they have a lot of.
It'll be at Warrensburg.
Gotcha. They got a lot of nice turf fields over that way, so I was just curious where that be played at. So
yeah.
They'll be at the high school over there.
Yeah,
that's a nice facility over there. Yeah, absolutely. So Zone 2, I think it's pretty straightforward there. Zone 4, I don't know how much you guys know about that part of it. You got a lot of West County. It's District 10, District 13 and 14. Tradition, you look at Festus Jackson. Jackson's been at the state tournament for the last 3 years. They got a few guys that were still eligible coming back. Devin Black, who's coming back. I remember seeing him 3 years ago at Liberty Park with Jackson there. They had a really good team, finished, I think, second or third. I can't remember exactly in that one. I think it was third behind Washington and Sedalia. But this bracket is, I thought Eureka was going to get, but Kirkwood made a run in District 10, knocked Eureka out. And Kirkwood post 156, got a shout out to Chris Copeland, his group over there. did a job. And they've got some guys. Kirkwood has some players. Their pitching staff, we'll see. They've got some guys. Pierce Sturgeon is on that staff. It'll be interesting to see if Pierce is throwing in this tournament. Kid from Webster Groves, one of their stud lefties, man. This kid can pitch. And pitch for Dave Wiggins over there at Webster Groves. I like Pierce Sturgeon. If he's on the mound with those guys, that's a formidable group. A formidable group. Because he can flat whip it. But their team ERA 4.78. I did get a chance to communicate a little bit with Chris Copeland, and he said that he finally got all his guys together at one time, and that makes a huge difference, doesn't it, Coach Zimmerman?
Yeah, absolutely. That's another thing that you battle all summer long is vacations and family plans and things like that. So you do run into a lot of situations where you might play a team one week and they have a certain lineup that they run out there, and you play them the next week and they run out a completely different lineup. And so when you're able to be at full strength, it makes a big difference. And so the hope is that everybody's at full strength when it matters, and so it's not surprising to hear that once they got everybody together, they performed. Because it's tough. I've seen that with the Travelers, both junior and senior. You go into tournaments and you're missing a pitcher, or you're missing your middle of the order bat, and it really changes the dynamic of the club, and how you approach day to day activities. And so, yeah.
It makes an impact. I know Nicholas Copeland, who's Chris's son, he's hitting 512 on the season and leads that offense. And they got a team batting average, Kirkwood does, of 301. They've had 44 extra base hits with 186 runs scored, walked 108 times, struck out 112. That's not bad. 95 stolen bases, which they're running the bags pretty well. Offensively, they've got enough tools to make this work. Down through here, they got guys 341. Nick Mueller, I think, is Ishiyama, another kid from Webster Groves, hitting 308. I think he played shortstop for the Statesman over there. He's probably playing shortstop for Kirkwood. They got talent. They got some guys. They got to face Festus. Coach Boyer, you've probably played Festus over the years in your career, and they've always been a tough out.
Yeah, I also played with a couple guys in college that were 253 guys, and they're very passionate about their Legion team. I mean, I took my Legion seriously, but these guys took it to a whole new level. They have a strong tradition over there. I'm pretty sure they've went to the World Series a few times, and so I know that it's important to him. The one thing I think is going to be interesting about this zone is I was just looking through a couple of these teams, Game Changer, and they've played each other a lot. So where we talked about having your full strength, some of these guys might have some arms that these guys haven't seen as well that they could be bringing to the zone tournament that could make a difference. And seeing a team a lot can be a big strength. It can hurt you sometimes, especially if it's a team you beat a lot. You see it in the high school level, especially in our area. We face teams sometimes 4 times when we get to districts. So anytime that you have that knowledge of a team, it could benefit you or hurt you. So I honestly think that just doing a little research, there's quite a few teams that could come out of this zone, and it's not the same as some of the other zones we talked about. It could just be a team that gets hot at the right time, and I'm sure Coach knows as well as if you're hot in the postseason, you're usually the best team. So,
Oh yeah.
Perfect, and I love that. I agree with you. I had this conversation with Chris Copeland, trying to talk to as many guys and seeing the feel. I don't think this is a runaway by anybody. I don't see a lot of double-digit wins or double-digit losses, runs scored, no blowouts. This is going to be a tight and could end up being, that extra game in the championship too. This is one of the toughest zones we have. Well, as far, I shouldn't say that. Zone 1 is pretty going to be. These two are going to be the same. Zone 1, Zone 4, tight all the way. Jackson may have a little bit more pitching. We'll see. But Festus, from what I was seeing down the line there, I'll show. This is what's going to be interesting to me, guys. When you look at the Festus group, Oliver Klump, Jack Klump, Devin Black, those guys I'm very familiar with. Brady Nolan. Do you guys know who Brady Nolan is?
The name sounds very familiar. I'm sure I've read it several times.
Center fielder for Festus. Heading to Crowder.
Yes. Okay. That's why. So I'm a ghostwriter, so that's why I would have heard his name.
Brady Nolan put up some video game numbers this year, guys. I mean, video game numbers. I think he was close to like 1,500 OPS. Okay.
Holy cow.
Yeah. Yeah. And you gotta know, I mean, Festus Class 5, they're not playing Joe Schmoes down there. They're
Yep,
facing
that's right.
they're facing dudes. And this kid is full real. You got Brady Nolan there. Mason Shermer, pitcher, the lefty out of Festus, state champion. He's on that squad. This team, you don't want to count Festus out. I could see them coming out of this winning this zone. Brady Nolan, offensive juggernaut. So again, like I said, I don't think Jackson is a clear favorite. I don't think there's a real clear favorite other than I think Jackson, and I would say that you got maybe a little more talent on the Festus squad, so that should be interesting there. But you get two teams into the state. So you get into that final two, you've got a spot in state, which, it's cool. But I think guys want to win zone. If you're in zones, Coach Boyer, and you're there, you want to win it, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, we just mentioned about how the team that's the hottest in the postseason is usually the best team, and I mean, I think any of these teams will take an extra week playing with their buddies in summer ball. Some of them maybe not, but I would say that they would take it, but they want to go win it. And in some of these zones, there's a good chance that you face that team again at some point once you get to state, and you kind of want that upper hand as well, and that confidence going into the next week of the season. Um, and who knows? For some of these teams, it could get easier when you get to the state tournament. So. Um, like some of these
Yeah.
zones are pretty loaded. So.
Oh man. Coach Zimmerman, final thoughts here. Who do you think's going to come out of this one, man?
I mean, I'm with you. I kind of lean, Festus or Jackson. I think it'll kind of come down to that. I mean, again, at the end of the day, having that camaraderie, having that desire, having that drive, the familiarity amongst the team, I think that really kind of plays itself out this time of year because, like Coach mentioned, you, sometimes you have teammates that you don't want to be away from. You want to make it last as long as you can. You want to be together as much as you can. And then other teams just aren't like that. They go their own way whenever they leave the field, and it's not that one is wrong and one is right. That's just the way that it happens. And so typically, whether it's spring, whether it's summer, you tend to see the teams that want to stay together and want that extra day or that extra week. Those teams, they find a way. It may not look pretty, it may not look perfect, but they tend to find a way just because that strong connection that they have.
Back to, and I think you're going to see, I think 156 could sneak up and take advantage of some of that, but I do think you see Jackson and Festus coming out of that, back to zone 1. Whoever is the 2 seed in that stripes bucket is probably going to have to face Jeff City. That's going to be a tough gig. Getting out of that, who's got the arms for that kind of depth and movement that way. That's going to be interesting. That's why I see, Ellsbury, but see Ellsbury and Moberly, I think Moberly's got the best pitching depth. If you look at it, I mean, even their numbers show it. So I think you got to look at that. And when you start getting these tight games, I think you see Moberly and Jeff City coming out of this one. See, you didn't think I hadn't done my pitch yet, Coach. That's what I see.
I think I know how they're going to pitch this one, and I think that they're going to go. I mean, obviously, it's going to be hard for me to pick against them in any capacity, but I do think that they're going to go in as the 1, and I think they'll be set up good in the bracket just because we talked about the pitching depth, and um, it'll be. This is the interesting setup. I kept looking at this because they're not all the same, and you could go 2-0 and you could go hot into the bracket, and then you could lose the first game, and then you're done.
And be
I
done. Yeah.
think that, and I get it because our districts, you lose one game, you're done. You could get upset, but just it's an interesting setup, and I like it. I like seeing different brackets, and typically postseason, other than high school baseball, is double elimination. So it's a fun. I think it's fun to change it up a little bit, especially with just how good this zone is. It's fun to see how it's set up.
I just like I like the way I like it when it features pitching depth, because that's the thing within high school baseball now. The role for that. Baseball is such a pitching dominated sport. And, I grew up Tommy Lasorda. I'm a Dodgers fan. Always was like that, is pitching and defense and hit a tank, we win. So those are the things that are very interesting. So yeah, this is the one though, man, it's just painful. I think that I really like all these teams in there. A lot of really good baseball and a lot of good quality kids. I mean,
yeah,
that's the tough thing for me is, some of these kids, man, they're going to break their heart. And that's always what's tough for me. Because I've watched a lot of these kids over the last 3 years, not only in Legion, but in high school baseball. And, that's always the thing for me. It's tough. It's tough. Again, zone 2, yeah, Mule Club, Travelers, unless something, drastic happens. So I think that's what you're going to see in the state. We're going to find out. Got a lot of stuff coming up. I'm planning on heading over Saturday to Silex to watch some of these Zone 1 baseball. I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Guys, go ahead, Brandon.
I was really upset I can't go over and watch them this weekend because my cousin's getting married in Wisconsin, so I'll be up north. But luckily, I talked to a few of them this week and told them that I wouldn't be very happy with them if they don't make it to the next round, so I don't get to watch them play next week. So that was, I guess, my pep talk to them.
There you go.
Right.
Oh, man. Gentlemen, I appreciate that was a great conversation. Really enjoyed that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
And folks, just remember, next week, starting on the 24th, we will be in Sedalia. These two gentlemen will be joining us on the call, working with as part of our broadcast team. I'm very excited about that. And we're looking forward to bringing you the Missouri American Legion Baseball State Championships. Then in August 6th through 10th, we're going to be in Washington. We'll be live streaming the American Legion Mid-South Regional from Washington Mo at Ronsick Park. Great venue. Looking forward to it. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it greatly. Hey, if you like what we're doing, support us, subscribe, hit that dinger next to it. It's not a home run, but it's better. It gets notifications for upcoming episodes just like this. more baseball talk. We appreciate it very much. Everybody, have a great day in the Lord. All you pitchers, Coach Zimmerman, give the pitchers some advice.
No strikes, man. Get the ball over the plate. Let everything else happen. Get the ball over the plate, and then we'll live with the results.
And you hitters, Coach Boyer, what do you tell the hitters?
I wanted the pitchers. He had the easy one. Last time you had me, I told him, I said to not swing at the first pitch fastball. That was my advice last time, so stick with her.
There you go. It's good advice. That's good advice. We'll see you all next time.